Okay, we are live with 5D All Day and Spirit Calling. I'm Danielle Kane. I'm the host of this podcast, and I am welcomed by some lovely people from our community. I can't wait to introduce them all, and then we'll get into our topics today. So, thanks again for joining us. And I would love to just go ahead and we'll go around and just tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got drawn to Spirit Calling, and then we'll move on. Okay, let's start off with Michael.
Oh, starting off with me already.
Starting off with our Archangel Michael here.
Well, my name is Michael. So,
Yep.
um, I've been doing this into going to spiritual stuff past couple years. My wife passed away last year, sort of intensified my movement towards spirituality. And this year, I've been really diving in deep and going everything is esoterical. So, like I'm doing horoscopes and everything else. And I saw Pamela online watching my regular YouTube esoteric stuff, and I just joined your group. So that's it.
Awesome. Welcome. Welcome. Glad that you can be here. And I know you've been on a couple of these
Yeah,
chats. So I'm so glad that you could be here and share with us. So thank you.
yeah.
All right, we're going to head over to Nicole from Awakening Mass Meditations.
Yeah. Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Nicole. I've been with Spirit Calling for, oh my gosh, I don't even keep track of time anymore. A little over a year now. I'm not sure, but yeah, I found it through, I'd say through Danielle, and she had an awesome episode with Pamela on it, and were talking about arrhythmia, and it was actually a year that I was thinking about going, so I reached out to Pamela and we made the connection with Spirit Calling as well. And I joined the community right away and just felt so at home with everybody sharing and like-minded things and co-creating. So it's been amazing. So it's been one of my favorite platforms, my go-to platform to find my uplifting information and just connecting. So yeah, happy to be here.
Wonderful. I'm glad to have you here too. We missed you last month, and I'm glad we could bring you back on. Nicole has been pretty much my biggest supporter, especially with this podcast on Spirit Calling, getting it going. She's kind of been my go-to person when we're trying to develop what it is that we're doing here. And I feel like right now we're just reaching that beautiful sweet spot for people getting it and feeling comfortable with sharing. So thank you. Thank you for
Yeah.
your support. All right, we're going
Yeah.
to swing down to Jason. Tell us a little bit about you and how you found Spirit Calling.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Mhm.
I found Spirit Calling on TikTok. I saw Pamela on there, and obviously, I was my algorithms in TikTok have changed dramatically in the last 4 months from what they used to be.
Mhm.
But I was on a bit of a journey, just trying to find what it is that I'm still trying to find. But I saw one of Pamela's messages on there. It really resonated well with me, and so I jumped in, got on Spirit Calling, and honestly, it's been amazing. I've grew up pretty religious, trying to break some molds of past things in my life and create like a lot better future for myself and my family and the people around me. And been really diving in this since July of this year, and just really been enjoying it with all of the different tools that the platform has and the different people, the different members on the platform. And like honestly, this 5D all day, I think this may be my third one that I've been on, and
Yeah.
it's like I look forward to this so much. It's like I
Who
think if
wasn't
the
who doesn't want a shot of high vibration? I mean, come on.
right, exactly, and I think like members need to know like this is part of the reason I signed up for Spirit Calling is being able to connect with a bunch of the members more so than just in a thread, but being
Yeah.
able to see everybody and being able to talk to you. And I really enjoy this portion of it a lot.
Oh, cool. I'm so glad. That makes my heart. Well, first of all, I have to talk about your testimonial because that testimonial was like powerful. So thank you so much
Thanks for that.
for putting that out there, and it means a lot to this community. There's a lot of people that are just finally finding this place, and so it means a lot to know that there is somewhere to go to talk about it. And then this is like an accelerated. There's something about the vibration of connection that expands you even further and quite rapidly, to be honest. So it's
Agreed.
one thing to hear it, but it's one thing to verbalize it and to share and to open up ourselves. So awesome. Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
All right, Madeline, share a little bit about you, my dear.
Okay. Hello. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Um, well, I think it's cool that Nicole mentioned Rhythmia. I never heard her say that story because me and Pamela pretty much met a similar way because well, we both went to this shamanic journeying circle that's like this free thing that was on the Meetup app. And just in conversation, for whatever reason, I brought up Rhythmia because it was something that I had seen and like watched some things on, and I was like, I would really love to go to this place and try that. And then she told me about how she went and everything. So, and then we ended up parting ways, but then ran into each other again a few months later, just in a parking lot. She was some lady was just screaming, and I turned around, and she's like, "It's you," you know. So yeah, that was just really cool, and I love spirit calling so much that I believe it's almost been a month that I actually I deleted some of my other social media channels
Wow.
because I just well, I'm trying to think what I was thinking at the time, but like using them less and less, but then they also like I had I had them, some of them, for like so many years, and there was just so much like history and everything.
Hmm.
And then I just decided that like I wanted to kind of like start a new chapter and without them.
Good for you. That's a
Yeah.
big step. That's like closing one door and opening another, and actually maybe a couple other doors. So that's
Yeah, and
great.
like so it used to be like a habit when I wanted to just kind of relax or something. Like I would go and I would open my phone and there would be like maybe like 4 or 5 apps that I would cycle through, and just a little bit of waste time or whatever.
Hmm.
But now it's only spirit calling and YouTube and sometimes the Bumble app. But that's it. And so it's been a lot better for
Good.
me.
Well,
Yeah.
good. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Glad we could be here for you too. All right, Dina, please share a little
Hi,
bit about
guys.
yourself. Hi.
Sorry, I was having some technical difficulties getting on as usual. It's first of all, it's so amazing. Like everyone that's here and hearing the stories of how they get here, it's no coincidence, right? Like we're all guided here. I've been with Spirit Calling for since a year ago, July, so over a year now. And serendipitously, same thing. I had gone through, always been pretty woo woo, and then kind of just got career and full on career. And then December 2021, it was like a light switch went off. And I don't know, it just, everything came back. And so I started remembering things and I couldn't stop learning. And as I was learning and going down the spiritual rabbit hole, I came across Pamela's podcast, one of her first, I think. And they had just launched Spirit Calling like a couple months before. And I heard her and I got off that, I listened to the podcast, and that night I just kept hearing connect with Pamela, connect with Pamela, connect with Pamela. It was so loud, so annoying. It went on for 3 days. And finally I was like, oh, for God's sakes. So I went on and did Spirit Calling, and I was like, okay, I'm going to join. So I was like, oh, this is really cool. This is like a great platform where people can engage and there's actual conversation, and this is very different. And so then her before then partner reached out to me, found out that I was a chief marketing officer, and was like, oh, we should talk to you. And serendipitously, we set up a meeting that the very day that Pamela and I met was the day that her partnership broke up. And the day was my first day where I just walked away from my last job and said, I'm not aligned. And so here I am. She's still whirling without her partner and going through that. And I'm like, what did I just do? I just walked away because it wasn't aligned. And we hit it off. We started talking, and it was like we had known each other our entire lives. It was the craziest thing. We both got off and we're like, what was that? So of course, Pamela taps into the the guides. And they're like, oh, this is not by chance. You were meant to reconnect at this point. You have worked together in many lives and you were to work together again. And I'm like, what? Wait, what is going on here?
Mm-hmm.
And so we had to sit with that for a while, and it has been consistent. We've been together ever since. So I've been working with her kind of on this behind the scenes at Spirit Calling for the last year and a half. And now she and I work together with the guides and, trying to build the community together. And it's an amazing platform because, like you guys said, it's conversation, it's connecting, it's engaging, and it's a safe place. It doesn't matter where you are on your journey, where you've been on your journey, what denomination faith you come from. Everyone is welcome and nothing is off limits. It's love and supported, and people do grow and enhance. I've seen so many people just grow just being on the platform. So it's an amazing, unique platform, which we're starting to understand is, when she was told to build the portal, this was it. It was about the community. We're all the portal. We are all the portal to help raise the frequency, which is so cool. So
you can feel it. And first of all, you have like this purplish pink aura around you. I don't know if anyone else sees it from their angle, but you are just like emanating this like aura today.
I was going to mention that. Like, actually,
Really?
everyone's auras and energy is just like really high vibe right now.
I just happen to see Dina's really, really significantly.
Hers is super pink and like off your body. Yeah.
Yeah, it literally is off your body.
I can see that.
Yeah, it's hey, we got to keep ourselves in high regard and keep moving forward. And we got work to do.
Yeah,
people, we got work to do, people. It's for sure. But I'm always thrilled to be here, and this is one of our favorite. I agree with Jason. Like, everyone needs to come on here and have these conversations because they're always so interesting, and you never know where we're going to end up.
That's right. We don't. I appreciate you guys because this was a thought that, like I said, I posted how this even started, and it really did start from Telegram. That's where one of the places I went to that I learned a lot of stuff that you didn't see in mainstream media, a lot of stuff that I was just curious, like kind of like Pamela said. I think that part of this journey of expansion is curiosity and openness, because a lot of things that I found that I thought were true ultimately showed itself. And I'm glad I was able to quickly pivot out of that attachment of my belief system to be like, okay, that was a program or that was a structure that I thought was what I was supporting or I believed in or was real. And when in fact, I just didn't have all the information. So I went into Telegram, I met Nicole. And then that's when on another, I don't even know if it was your channel, but people started wanting to have conversations. And so we were all like wanting to talk about 5D, like we all talked about 5D, New Earth, and things like that. And so I started my own podcast where I had Pamela on, but when Spirit Calling was kind of growing, like you said, and that's where she shared her trans channeling and all of her gifts and things like that. And then Nicole, actually, I would do recaps, and I asked Nicole to recap on that interview, which was really neat. And I'd not done that. And so I had always said, I'd love to have one where it's like, we're really talking to real people, like what's going on in people's lives. And so here we are. And this is why we're doing it, because you guys are what shifts everything. And so I'm just so glad to just have this actually be in existence. So if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be here. So thank you. All right.
I have a feeling it's going to grow.
Yeah.
Even further. So hang on.
Yeah, I know, right? Awesome. So let's start off with, Jason, I really appreciate you bringing forth some questions, because that's really where we can kind of start navigating into a space, and then I like to free flow from there. But Jason wanted to see, and we can all kind of go around, like, how are we navigating with whether it's a lifestyle, like a work lifestyle? A lot of people have this idea of like 5D can't be working, right? It's not working in the traditional space, which isn't necessarily the case, but sometimes people are like, I'm totally over just the structure of it, which I think we're shifting out of the old structure and dynamics of how we work into something new. But also how we school our children, how just in general. So am I about right with your question?
Yeah, I felt like I felt like I've figured out some things, but I felt like I wanted to put that out there in case other people maybe are struggling with trying to figure it out. And the thing that I'm realizing with this journey, everything with this journey, is just ask. Ask. Like, how can it be so simple? Like, ask the universe, ask spirit, ask source. Hey, can you open up a way to make this happen for me?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like my life has been so crazy busy with the business, with work, with kids, with family, so many aspects. I thought there's no way this can happen. Like, how am I going to be able to fit these things in that I really want, that my heart really wants to be a part of? But 4 months ago, 3 months ago, wouldn't have been able to. My schedule would have never allowed it. And realizing it was as simple as asking. And it's just like, it's just been crazy how things have fallen into place to be able to be a part of the events that I want to be a part of.
Absolutely.
And it's just like, that's why I just wanted to be like, other people have got to be going through the same stuff. Other people's got to have their careers, their kids, and trying to balance it. And I get it. Probably every event's not going to work, but like, it's just interesting, this whole scenario of this spiritual walk of as simple as asking and so many more aspects than just this.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I want to give 2 shout outs real quick. Sorry. On our chat, we have Megan Shallow on with us and Nicole as well. So we want to thank you. I know you all couldn't necessarily be here to talk, but I wanted to recognize you and we appreciate you being here as we go through this. So hopefully you stick with us as much as you can. So thank you. I would like, I'm going to answer this, but I'd like some of the ones that are, some of us might be retired, right? Some of us might be in and out of work. I know Megan, Megan, I just called you Megan Nicole. That's so funny.
That's
Nicole is very busy with her work, and I'd love for you to share about how you've gone through, because you also like to do
Yeah,
your
I would love
personal
to
mass
share.
meditations. And then Dina being like, a chief, are you still the marketing chief executive officer? Is that what you
Yes,
call them?
yes, but at a different company. Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
and I don't mind sharing mine because I'm like, I this is where I call myself like multi-dimensional, because I play like 1,000 roles too, and I do go dip in and out, and it's chaotic sometimes. So I'll share my version too, and anyone else who wants to chime in. But go ahead, Megan. Or I keep calling you Megan. What am I doing? Nicole.
Well,
Why
I
am I
can
doing
start
that?
off by saying my wife, Megan, is currently going through this question so deeply right now to bring in Megan's name.
Maybe she's calling me to call on her. That's
That's
so
hilarious.
funny.
And Megan on the chat. But
Right? Oh yeah, Megan on
yeah,
the chat.
so it's like I feel like a lot of people are going through this kind of like push and pull of or question mark in general of what am I supposed to be doing? Am I doing the right thing? Am I in the right space? All of these things are, I think, coming to a head for a lot of people. And we've seen, I think, since COVID, really, since that has been happening. And I feel like, well, in my partner's case, she is going to school specifically right now for medical billing and coding, coming out of the restaurant business, where she's been in restaurant for 15 plus years. And that realization to be like, okay, this isn't for me anymore. I'm going to shift into something else. But to have the ability to work remotely from home, I know is really big in people's space of awareness. And so to be able to find jobs, and then maybe she's thinking, do I want to do that? Do I want to do something different? But anything to put the feelers out there that you can do something different. There might be something else out there for you. And you can take yourself out of these environments that have been so programmed into us that make us almost feel like guilty or like some kind of stuck feeling that you need to be in these types of jobs. When in reality, not just other jobs are available in the spiritual realm that are calling you, but that you can be in a different space doing similar gifts that you have. You don't have to completely uproot what you do, but to be able to have the opportunity to maybe go remote or be able to be in new spaces brings all kinds of new vibrations in itself, to bring in all these possibilities of what do I want? Who am I? All these things. So that's one thing I wanted to say with that. But also for me in my journey, coming out of the hospital space during COVID was like super heavy in my awareness. Like I constantly was like, is this where I'm supposed to be? Is this what I'm supposed to do? Looking right now, it's 122. I just keep seeing double numbers all the time. And it's just telling me, and showing me that, yes, you made that leap. I'm now working remotely. I'm still doing what I'm doing, EEG technology, reading brainwaves and doing stuff that I know I wanted to do. But I was like, how do I do that not being in such a heavy, dense environment that every day I was having to protect and guard myself before I went into the space, and just always having to navigate that. So I'm so thankful that I was able to manifest that. Honestly, I was just like, I can do this from home. I can do things in my own space, and was able to make that happen. So now that I work remotely, I can spend so much more time on creating my sound healings, to do my mass meditations, and spend more time on my website to make it what it needs to be for the perfect timing for the collective. It's just everything seems to be on timing, and we don't see the end or the grand picture or what it's for or why. But once you get there in like hindsight, it's like, wow, I'm so glad I did those things at that time to get me where I am because of everything that could have happened. Excuse me. So yeah, sorry that was just like a blast of information, but
That was perfect.
that was my experience. And I'm just so thankful to be in this new space to do more things that fill my soul and my heart and everything. So yeah, I'm just very thankful to be in my space and to start my farm and do all the things that I love to do now.
That's great. Can I say one
Yeah.
comment, Dina, before you go? So COVID, we know like it has, I think it's had many faces of what it was supposed to be, but for one in this conversation, it allowed and it really shifted the collective in its awakening process to allow people to pivot their businesses, to pivot in jobs, to pivot into more an alignment of what they want. And like you said, in 2020, you completely moved out of state, found this
Sure.
job, even though it was in the hospital, but it started leading you in the path
Mhm.
and attracting what it is that your soul is desiring on a probably on a quicker timeline than
Yeah,
previous.
for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Dina, go girl.
Okay. So yeah, look, I was kind of where Jason was at first because I so busy. I do not have children, so I don't have that piece, but family, friends, you know, work, and I, can have a good 12, 14-hour day often. I love what I do and I love the company I'm with, but once I put it out there, when I realized I wasn't aligned with my other company, and it philosophically was eating at me because I loved the team, I loved what I did, but the company I was not aligned with. As soon as I left that and just walked away, and I just started saying, what do I want? What do I want? And as soon as I put it out there and got my intentions in line, it was like, Jason, everything just opened up. Like the most amazing company came to me with people who are aligned with me in 100% way. And while we work very hard and we have a lot to do as a growing company, I really I realized that for my own mental well-being and spiritual well-being, I have to do both, and I have to make time for it. There is time, there is time if you make it. So I will either get up an hour earlier to get the work done that I need to allow time for my space. In the evenings, I always dedicate some time to it because I have a friend who is an intuitive as well. And she's like, you're like, she always says, I live paranormally. So she's like in normal and then paranormal and then in normal and in paranormal. And what I find is the more I'm in it and the more I step into this in a big way, not only have my gifts and my like visions and voices and things have, that I hear and messages I get are stronger. I notice I attract the same kind of like-minded people to me. It's crazy. Even in my company, the people that we hire, all of a sudden, I just hired a guy and he's like, oh yeah, I worked really closely with Greg Braden. Like, it's crazy how it all starts aligning effortlessly, seamlessly. And you'll just notice the synchronicities. And the more you notice the synchronicities and the more you appreciate them, the more they happen, but it, it feels overwhelming at times. Sometimes you get done and it's like 8 at night and I haven't even had dinner, but I make sure that I go on spirit calling because I want to hear what people are saying. I want to engage. I want to know what's going. And it ends up fueling me beyond anything I could have imagined. So that's kind of how I juggle it. But I think we all have time. It's just making the time, right? Like, I don't have kids, but I know little ones would make it even tougher. But like, you make time, Nicole. You have younger kids, and busy life too. So I think that's what I do. And I ask for it. Show me how to make time. And it, like Jason said, it aligns. It just aligns. It's crazy. Something will pop off. Like all of a sudden the meeting will fall off. And I'll be like, oh, I can do that now. It just happens. It's quite magical.
Michael or Madeline, would you like to chime in? I know life might be a little bit different now for you guys. Oh, Madeline, you're raising your hand.
Yeah. I was gonna say that I mentioned that I might be late today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been having to help care for my mom. So I just, it was kind of crazy this morning, like having to go to the pharmacy and get her medicine, and then she had to get blood work, and all this stuff was going on. And I was looking at the time and I was thinking to myself, either I'm going to be late or I'm not going to be able to make it at all. And it really affected my emotional state. Like first I became very irritable and like frustrated and like shut down, and I was like doing stuff, but I was very aware that I was feeling that way. But I like worked through it, and then I realized, well, underneath of that, is sadness and disappointment. This was very important to me. I wanted to make it. I've been looking forward to it. And like now I'm like just accepting that it's probably just not going to happen. But then there's like this little thing that like is like, no, like that's not where you're gonna leave off. So like I sat with that, like I do this thing where it's like I pay attention to my emotions and my thoughts and my energy and my vibration. And like your vibration and your energy is like a different language. And like so like when I connect to it, it's like keep getting to like deeper truths and stuff.
Mhm.
So then eventually I got to this point where I started saying, you know what? Like, I know that I have the ability to basically get into alignment with the best possible outcome. I don't know exactly what is going to happen, but I know that it's going to be the best possible outcome for me, if I'm willing to line up with that. And then it just ended up being where things just started moving like quicker and everything. And what was I, like 3 minutes late, you
Yeah,
know?
we didn't even press the live button. Like literally we just
Yeah.
started.
Yeah. And like I said, at first I was convinced that I was just not going to be able to make it at all, you know? But then it's like her one doctor's appointment, it was like somehow she was in and out of there in like 10 minutes. Somehow, like it just, you know, it just happened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm so glad you could make it, and I'm so glad it worked out that it aligned today.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Michael.
Just hey, to tell you guys, Pamela says hi.
Hi,
She's
Pamela.
Pamela.
she's texting me. She's like, send me
Yay.
who's on. She's painting with her daughter at a painting camp this week.
Oh,
So
that's
she
fun.
said, please tell everybody hi. So
I
hi
have to
from
say,
Pamela.
I have to make a comment too. So Megan, who's on the chat listening, I think that's where I was picking up the other Megan.
Hmm.
She was laughing because she says that's so funny that Megan and Nicole are a combo because she has a sister named Nicole. And I'm like, no, that's crazy. You
That's
can't
so
make this stuff
crazy.
up, guys. I'm telling
Shout
you.
out. We are all connected on all the lives.
Exactly, exactly. So, all right, sorry.
That's awesome.
Let's go over to Michael now.
Um, we're talking about work, so I burned myself out twice for sure. So I'm not, the current job isn't difficult. It doesn't cause me stress. I'm working at help desk in a hospital environment where I'm helping people navigate a certain software, and I get energy from people uh being helped. So and I joke around on the phone and stuff like that, and I make them feel good, and I try to put myself in their shoes and stuff like that. But I left a really bad job. It wasn't bad per se, but everyone there was nice, but the owner wasn't great. I was doing Honda warranty and IT. I was only getting paid for one of the jobs, so I was doing two jobs in one. And it was like beginning of 2020, and I said, well, I can either die doing this job or do something and take a leap, right? So 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 I took a leap and just got you know, uh, COVID funding for a while, and I was studying something, as environmental stuff, and then I lost interest. And then I got a job into a creative environment because I was really um, craving being creative because I like I when I was a kid or in the late 80s and early 90s, I was getting best open format radio show and best audio production in my college and stuff like that. So I was a very creative person. So I was really missing the creative side of me. So I got into the theater here, doing IT. So I was around, I was on, going to the stages and stuff like that, and going to all the actors and whatever like that. It was theater environment. So that was a contract job. And then I got into the healing environment, which is health PEI, where I'm at right now. So one of the first things that happened when I lost my job in 2011, next year I discovered that giving my father-in-law his lymphoma shots really helped my soul. Really started like nurturing me, and it sort of like was it like a helping others was a way to heal my soul. And my father-in-law brought me to Rotary, and I got interested in Rotary. And so when I was having difficulty back in 2016 with my old job, I'd go to Rotary and it would fill my soul again and get me, to the next week. So but now I'm just coasting. I'm 59, and um my work is just there to fill the days, I guess. But my major focus right now is spirituality, because like the past couple of years, I had a really bad habit of going online and playing a a video game for hours on end every day. It was just sort of like mental cigarettes, I call it. It would just sort of like fill the time, and I was just like, I was headlining a burnout. I was just filling time, but then I just noticed a lot of negativity on it, so I just dropped it. I stopped watching negative YouTube stuff, and as I kept refining those bad habits, I would replace it with good habits. And I'm doing the same thing this year. I'm keep replacing the good habits, and I started doing meditation this year. Um, and I noticed when I did meditation, I started getting messages and like clairaudience and visualizing, do the lighthouse thing. And I think I attracted uh, Pamela in by she said, "Where's PEI?" And I came in from PEI a week after that was saying, "Where's P?" I was dreaming about PEI, and says, "Well, maybe she picked up on my lighthouse from my meditations for the past 4 months, literally, or 5 months." So, and now in July, I was refining. I really had an urge to find a group. So the intention was to create a group of people on PEI who are spiritual, and was not happening. And then I found you guys, and basically that's what I manifested that, per se. It came into your group, and I basically got to the point where I wanted to get to this year, which is finding you guys. So that's it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Look at these journeys, man. That's so great. Jason, I want to share a little bit about mine because I think you and I are very similar in our lives with our families. I don't know how many children you have. How many do you have?
Got four,
Four.
two girls and two boys that are twins.
Ah.
They're
And
free.
what are your age ranges? What are your age ranges on them?
9, 5, and 2 3-year-olds.
Woo! All right, that's a lot. Yeah, I don't have as much as you do on that realm, but
Well, my wife does most of it.
exactly.
So it keeps us hopping.
Right. So the one thing that our journeys, I think, present us are like how things are set up, because I also co-own a business with my husband, and COVID actually kind of allowed us to pivot because we went through all the stuff that we talked about last time. And it also allowed me to kind of reclaim a lot of my own power back, because being in a codependent relationship in your marriage and in your business can be overwhelming if you don't have a good balance. So
Mhm.
I'm sure you have to do that with your wife, with parenting and things like that. I
Right.
also homeschool my daughter. We've done every kind of schooling you can think of. I've done nature school, farm school, public school, private school, homeschool, a little intermix co-ops, you name it, we've done it. and we're always open. That's the thing. We have to be open to what's the best learning for our family in that dynamic. And with that, I'm starting a new business in financial products right now. And I also have a part-time job, like helping out a client of ours with invoicing. And there's things that I have to like know when it's completely, I have to like almost segment. I've got to dedicate it to my kids today. And then there's times where I have to tell my family, I need to segment this time for my work to support the family. So I have to create boundaries within things or make it clear where I need help, where I need support. And that might be uncomfortable because I'm like, I can take it all on, I can do it all. But I realized if I can be in alignment with the things that I enjoy doing, and I enjoy playing pickleball, like that was something that was very important to me to have fun, like having some core values for myself, that I'm maintaining a level of integrity for my growth, but for my support for my family, and also enjoyment and my time for my spirituality. So I don't know if that's helpful, but there's
Yeah.
times where it could be imbalance. There's times where there's imbalances, but the more that I communicate and have that support, and it seems like you have a lot of brothers working for you. So
Yep.
I think that there needs to be some level of a reevaluation internally over the year where you really want to be. And if you can set some time to be able to further yourself to be in alignment with some of the things that you're meant to grow, just this is the time where you're listening more inside than ever, and you'll get those answers if that's helpful.
No, it is. Absolutely.
Yeah, but I feel you because I know it is sometimes it's a juggle. And I was just 2 months without my husband. He was in Atlanta and he just got home. And man, I got sick as a dog. I lost my voice. I was in bed. I was talking to Michael. I was like, I had been in bed. I'm reading your messages. But I was so laid out. It was like perfect timing when he came home. I was like, okay, I'm done. And then I got to reset, a little bit. But I think these are all good because we're all going through different things. We're all doing what our soul's desiring, right? We're all navigating these different avenues. So I'm so glad you brought up that topic because it's a real thing. Yes, Maddie, you can go ahead and speak.
Okay. Um, I had a question. Well, no, it's not really a question. It's just I feel like it's related to the topic, but I was gonna ask Dina if Pamela is okay.
Is she okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. She is with her daughter right now, and they're doing a painting weekend. So
Okay, because
she's doing good.
yeah, I haven't had a chance to post it in the Dream Haven, but last night Pamela was in my dream, and she was still doing the spirit calling and like very happy and invested with that. But then she was also a performer at like a aquarium SeaWorld kind of place, and she had to dress up like a mermaid and actually perform underwater. And she was confiding in me that she was just like so burnt out and she was so sick of it and like she didn't want to do it anymore. And like
That's so interesting.
she was like just kind of like telling me like she wanted to make spirit calling like the priority in her life or something.
Okay, I can speak to that. So Pamela is like us, juggling her job with spirit calling. And she had a few moments this week where there was a lot, right? It's a lot. And so some overwhelmed moments like we all have. But I don't know if you know this, but Pamela used to perform in a David Bowie cover band. And she's a singer. And she used to totally do the dress up garb. And it was something that she loved to do, but pushed herself to do because, getting on stage, I believe that was preparing her for this role to get on stage and push through the fear. But very much she used to be, I mean, she is a singer, she has a beautiful voice, but she used to be in a cover band. But it's so funny because this week we did have a couple calls where at the beginning of the week where it was like we were both juggling. We're like, the energy is just off. Like, and she said, I just want to do this full time. Like, so you're feeling that pull in that energy, which is, this is her heart, right? This is what she's being called to do. And she's balancing both of the things now, as we all are balancing everything. So she's same as us, balancing. So that's really interesting. But yeah, she used to dress up. She'll have to show you some of the pictures, Maddie.
Yeah.
Okay.
She
It's
also
cool.
did send a message over here on the chat that she's sorry she couldn't make the call, that she loves us all, and wanted to remind us about Nicole's meditation on Sunday. So I said, yes, we've been chatting about that and
Yes,
we'll bring it up again.
absolutely.
But that is so cool. Isn't that really neat about what your dreams will tell you too? I know we had that whole
Yep,
living the call, I think it was, with the dream state,
exactly. Oh
right?
yeah, with Tina Marie
Hmm.
Bueno. Yeah, she's very good at that. And she actually, on that call, I told her about a very funky dream, and she actually got back to me with what the hit was that she thought it meant. Of course, it meant nothing that I thought it meant, but it made perfect sense to what was going on, similar to what Maddie just said. So Maddie, you should post that. Let Pamela react to it. She'll love to hear it.
Yeah. I haven't remembered many of my dreams, and I remembered a dream last night that was a little scary. But it made me want to reach out to a friend of mine, but I'm like, oh, that was so interesting. I don't know why it was so specific, and it was regarding the life of one of our friends. But it's so funny how sometimes those dreams will wake you up right out of something and be like, what's going on? Is something wrong? Is everything okay? And it might not
Yep.
necessarily be what's actually happening, but it might have some connection to, like I said, the struggle or some energy frequency happening in their lifetime too. So very cool.
It's
Pamela wrote, Maddie, I will post my performing pictures in the portal. That's what she said. That's
oh, did
great.
she? So she heard
She's
it.
laughing. She's there.
Okay, so
She's
she's
listening. I think she's probably
okay. Good, good,
her
good, good.
daughter.
I was just gonna text her and tell her to that Maddie was gonna post a dream in her. So that's good. Yeah, you have to see the pictures because she dresses up, and that's Maddie. That's exactly what you probably picked up on.
Well, I don't know if you guys sense this, and this is something that's important to me. I mean, Pamela and I have been talking a little bit through text, and obviously she's been having these premonitions and everything coming out. And I did say I want to hold space for that because I do feel like there's a building momentum. Like I'm just waiting for, like I said, something to spill over already. I don't know if everyone else is feeling that, but maybe in our lives we're all feeling this kind of buildup. And it was awkwardly quiet today, like almost so quiet. It was a little painful for me. And I'm just talking about like normally like things for me in my world are overwhelming. Like my emails are overwhelming. My
Yeah.
messages on social media are overwhelming. And it was quiet. And I'm like, what is happening? How are you guys feeling? Do you guys feel any of that energy building up? Is everybody just like, don't mind sharing, what they feel that Pamela's been sharing in your lives and how it might be affecting you? Let's go around and talk about that. Dina, you want to start?
Yeah. No, I've been feeling the energies the last 2 weeks. I've been talking about it with people at work, and Pamela and I have talked about it quite a bit, where it's this calm, but like a calm before the storm, or like the eye of the hurricane, where it's eerily calm, but I'm so anxious, like almost like I'm going up a roller coaster and I'm waiting to like. And we've felt that, and I've been up in the middle of the night. My legs have been vibrating, like I have to get up, like I can't like sleep. And I've noticed even at work, people the last 2 weeks, especially with the supermoon, doing things that are so out of character for them, or like a writer that wrote something that didn't even sound like her, like crazy energies. And we've all been very aware, but I've been feeling it tremendously the past 2 weeks. It intense. I think Pamela has too. We've both been feeling it. And 1 minute you're like high, and the next minute you're like, why do I feel so, anxious? And it's just this constant flow. And the energies are very strong. And it was like the build up to the supermoon, and just even after the supermoon was intense for me. So still is actually. So
yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing.
definitely.
And
Yeah.
hopefully you're finding ease though through the intense moments. I know you have some good support, and
Yeah.
that's
I
good.
do a lot of grounding. I do a lot of clearing. I do a lot of chakra work. Like,
I can
yeah,
tell
you
your
just,
heart's
yeah, there we go.
I can
Yeah.
see your aura, girl. You're doing it.
Yeah.
So, but it's happening. So we're not crazy. It's happening.
Good.
Yeah, I can actually really relate with that, Dina. The last couple weeks, the fact that it's already October 21st just blows my mind. I feel like the last 2 weeks have gone by in like a few days, to be honest. That's what it feels like. And I just have like constant, I feel like not necessarily challenges, but choices coming up in front of me where I'm like, it can make me more anxious because I'm faced with a choice, but to have the ability and option that I can choose something that is better for me or suits my energy better, I feel like has been like this kind of dance lately the last couple weeks, because the anxiousness or like that feeling like something's happening, but at the same time being able to have control over that, like reminding myself, if that makes sense. Um, for example, I spontaneously had someone from the spiritual community doing a road trip around and was like, "Hey, are you available for me to stay at your house tonight? We've been wanting to connect for a long time." And I was like, "Yes, please." But of course it was spontaneous. It's quick. Like there's no more planning. It's right there and you have choices to make. And she was able to come out and we were able to have an amazing time spending time in nature and being able to connect to just like our hearts and breathe together, and just being faced with these choices all the time that maybe we're not planning for, that could cause more anxiousness or more uncertainty, or just all these feelings and emotions I feel like are coming up, which is causing us to use them as our compass more often to feel that balance and to find that peace. Because I feel like we're going to be seeing that more often, where we're going to be faced with these choices and these feelings, and you really need to feel through that, because that is how we're going to get through this storm that's brewing.
Mm.
Yeah, that's
I
kind of
feel
what
like
I'm
you get
feeling.
that thrown at you a lot, though. Like even if you
Probably.
don't have a plan, like when I came to visit you, any travelers that come visit
Oh, that's
Nicole,
so
it's
funny.
never going
Well,
to go as
yeah,
it's planned.
that's just life, right? You can't plan for
Right.
anything. Plan to be spontaneous was actually the motto of the week.
That's
Plan to be
good.
spontaneous. That's it.
Yeah, because otherwise you get stuck into like that anxiousness, right? If you just you got to go with the flow sometimes. Not everything is going to be exactly how you anticipate it to be, and that's okay. So that's
Yeah,
great that you guys
losing
enjoyed.
control. That's
Hmm.
been a big thing to
Yeah.
teach myself lately. Like, you're not in control anymore. It's happening. Whatever's happening is happening. Just flow with it. Breathe. The breathing has been huge for me. I feel like I'm up in my throat and I have to like literally take a huge breath to like, okay, calm again.
Hey, I wanted
So,
to say something about breathing really quick. I don't know where I saw it, but there was this woman talking about breath work. And I think everyone could benefit from this. And she says, when you take a breath in, you want to feel your diaphragm. And she says, you want to breathe in and then you want to blow out like you're blowing out a birthday cake. And you want to actually imagine yourself blowing out the birthday cake because that makes you feel good. It gives you a feeling of celebration. And I'm like,
mhm.
wow, like how fantastic. Because, we could do all the breath work, the somatic breath work, which is great. But if you have this breath of like blowing out the candles and
Mhm.
imagining a birthday cake, she says that changes your Nicole probably knows all about this, about how you think from like the negative energy to a positive energy. If you're feeling like that angst feeling inside. So anyway, I just wanted to
That's
say
That's
that.
cool.
really good.
Well, this will also resonate with Nicole because I came across a thing this on, and I actually was going to post it because it was Bashar, and he was talking about if you are feeling like you need to purge anxiety or stress or release or reset your energy, he says all you have to do is listen to Beethoven's Symphony Number 7, the second movement, the first 3 minutes.
Mm.
Wow, that's
And
amazing.
I put it on. I was having a day.
Wow.
Even my husband was like, honey, I can tell you're having a day. I'm like, how do you know I'm having a day? He's like, because I think I'm an empath. I'm like, oh, you're on the fast track. Like because he tries to understand my world. And so I put it on, and honestly, you all have to. I mean, I'll post it on the Spirit Calling, but honestly, it covers almost every emotion, and it
Wow.
totally calmed me down. So I
I
will
love
post
that.
it. But
Interesting.
yeah,
Please do.
it's
I'm
I
curious
will.
about the
Share that.
frequencies.
First 3 minutes, Bashar says it'll do everything you needed to do.
I believe it.
Yep.
Frequencies, that's our recalibrating. So yeah.
Yeah.
So cool.
So cool.
It's
How about
it's
you,
kind of
Jason? Yeah,
it's
go
kind
for
of
it.
interesting we're talking about the breath work, because that's honestly has been my go-to for the last 3 weeks. Like kind of like what you're saying about the candle. Like I've been envisioning though in my mind, like when I'm blowing out, there's like this gold aurora that's just
Ooh,
like that I'm
Mm.
just like spreading over myself.
love
And
it.
it's like it's crazy because it's like there has been so like everything you guys are talking about, anxious moments, like you were asking about, have we noticed things? So for any of you that might not know, I'm in concrete construction. I created this business 7 years ago, and I have just shy of right now about 100 employees. And like, I have seen so much shit happen inside of my own organization, not with my business, but I'm very connected with a lot of the employees and personally, like different things. And I always keep going back to like the different things that Pamela was saying, like October is going to be a crazy month. And I was thinking for different reasons, but like the super moon, whatnot, people's relationships that have been together for 7, 8, 9 years crumbling the last 2 weeks. So like so many things coming to the forefront, and just trying to take what I've been learning here in the community and just trying to spread as much peace of mind to them that I possibly can offer. And so like everything that everybody has been saying here is just like, yeah, I've been living this a lot.
Absolutely. Yes, go ahead, Maddie.
I just wanted to mention something I think is very, very important, and it's been helping me so much the last couple days. When it comes to emotions, I was watching a video about it, and it's like, and they said it's a really bad thing, like in the spiritual community, that we try to regulate our emotions, we try to control our emotions and things like that. And they said that, emotions are like energy in motion, but what you're supposed to do is have control over your behavior. You have like, allow the anger to come, allow the sadness to come, allow the emotion to happen, and then like ask yourself, what message is this emotion bringing? What information? The emotions are like a language, and what are they telling you? But the to just have the self-control and the willpower to be in control of your behavior, but don't necessarily try to be like before, it's like I would be like, I notice I'm anxious and I'm trying to control the anxiety, or I notice I'm angry, frustrated, and I'm trying to control the emotion, which is energy in motion. It wants to move, and it wants whatever. But then, so now it's like I just focus on like what I'm gonna do, with that energy. And I feel so much more like free. Like before I felt very like more constricted, because I would like really try to regulate my emotions like all the time, and like I hated like if I was speaking to somebody and like I started feeling myself becoming like irritable, or like anything I would consider like negative, I would start beating myself up over experiencing that emotion at all, and like trying to push the emotion away, and like, things like that. So now that I have this new, I guess, perspective on just like come what may kind of thing with the emotion, but then make sure I'm in control of my behavior afterwards, it's just, it's like I feel like it's a life-changing kind of thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well said.
Yeah.
I can
Yeah,
actually
very well
really
said.
agree with that. Personally, having you guys all read and maybe saw my little video story about losing my duck at the beginning of the month. I mean, this kind of ties into everything. We knew that stuff was happening this month. For me, it was like I went into a depression state that I hadn't been in a very long time. So that was like really dense and heavy for me to navigate. And normally I try to brush that off or cover that up or stay busy or, not feel that. But it was very heavy for me to the point where it was like, I could not ignore it. Like, you are going to sit with this, you're going to feel through this, and you need to see what does this mean for you? What was this? Why did this happen? So it was like, the emotions were like forcing me to sit with it. And I'm so glad I did, instead of doing what I normally do and just kind of like, okay, I don't feel right, but I'm still going to do all these things that I need to do, to be able to say, okay, I need to take time. I can't create this right now. I can't do this right now. I can't show up for this right now, because right now I'm trying to process something and understand something deeply. And so for me, that was huge to learn to not, do what we normally do with our feelings, and just kind of reprogramming the mind to understand what feelings can mean. And, being like depressed, we always say, relating to the past, and anxiousness to the future. And we're just always like in the past and in the future with our emotions. And to be able to be in the now and being here and being able to feel not what's going to happen or what could be in the past or any of these ifs and whats and shoulds and coulds, that is really what is making it even more of a intense system where you can't find that peace and calibration. So to find the here and the now and to be able to feel the emotions and not let them take over you and consume you, which is so easy to do. That has been a big learning thing for me. But also, I just know, like you said, a lot of people are learning and understanding, more like remembering. We're remembering why we have these feelings and emotions and these powerful things that we have inside of us to manifest and to create and to literally create the life that we want based on our vibration and our mindset, because all of it connected as one can really shift into magic. And it's just amazing to get into that state and remember, excuse me, remember the possibilities that can come from these times of we think unsure or dense and heavy, but instead could come all these magical things because we're remembering. And I just think that's the most beautiful part of it all.
That's amazing.
That's
Like,
beautiful.
tied it all in very nicely. Michael.
Yeah, it did.
I do want to hear from Michael one more time about this because we're getting close to the 2-minute marker. I'll go over a little bit if everybody's okay with that as well. You're on mute too, Michael.
Okay, cool.
There you
I'm
go.
on now.
Yeah.
I'm doing the heart coherence challenge this month, so I'm working with my heart a lot. I'm just saying that because yesterday I had a thing from my heart because my daughter, a 20-year-old, her life is sort of off the rails. She's not working. She's depressed. She has ADHD. She has Tourette's. She's frustrated with her life. So, and she lives with her younger sister. So, Isabella, her younger sister, call messaged me, said you need to talk to Cassie because she's crying now and everything else. So I called her last night, and she's the one butting heads with me all the time about spirituality. She thinks I'm being hoodwinked. She uh she fights me on everything spiritual, but I said I gotta leave that aside. I'm not gonna. So I just thought from the heart, just to help her keep my any ego out of it. I just talked to her and made her feel better. But I discovered something about Cassie yesterday, which is really weird, is that she uses her, I would say, clairsentience to feel how people are. So, for example, when she's around Justin Trudeau last year, when she saw an event, she didn't really get good vibes from him, and now she's a big fan of Pierre Poilievre. These are Canadian politicians, like left and right, liberal and conservative. She got good vibes, so I'm not a fan of either one, but whatever. But I learned that she has clear sentience, so I'm thinking that and my other daughter she has dreams that see the future, and then my sister saw a UFO the past week. So like sort of runs in the family. I don't know what's going on there. So
You're
but
becoming
anyway,
the
yeah,
observer of your
yeah,
reality, and
yeah,
that is such a huge place to be from the character, just the character.
yeah.
I think that's wonderful.
So I'm seeing it. I'm seeing people starting to grow, and that's it's kind of amazing. So
That is so amazing. Oh, I'm so
yeah,
glad you shared that because like that's the beauty when you get to see even if terms don't suit somebody because people are like some people can't stand new age and I'm like who cares? Like if
yeah,
something resonates with you, you're going to know. You're going to know what feels good. That's why we're supposed to feel. We're supposed to navigate through our feelings. We're not supposed to just be so analytical all the time. If you're a great analytical person, awesome. But that's, we're not going to have the facts because we've been told one thing and then we later on find that it's not even really a fact. So like we should just like flow through life here. They say like we said last time that there's a beautiful song I've brought it before. The way knows the way. Sometimes we have to get out of the way so we can flow with it.
yeah,
And I'm so grateful that you shared that because we do have to get our egos out. Sometimes like these beliefs or something that we've held on to, or we want to just tell people, don't you see it? Don't you see it? And encourage them to be like, wow, look what you just did. And then they can see it their own way. And then it brings us all together nicely. So I'm so proud of you. That was like a huge, huge place to be in your heart. And thank you so much for sharing that.
Thanks.
These are so great, guys. I love this conversation. Does anybody else have anything to say? Because it is 4:02 my time, Eastern Standard Time. But I think that we touched on almost all the things that we had to say. Nicole, from the newest Nicole member that had a comment to you, Nicole, that she did Nicole notice that she just said October 21st and it's actually October 25th?
When did I say the 21st? My apologies. See, time
Yeah,
is like
I
the
think a
most
couple of us
elusive
left because I
ever.
heard you say it too. And I'm like, maybe she's singing the solstice. I'm like, wait a minute. No, that's not the solstice.
I don't
So
know. I'm sorry, guys.
no, but it's
Numbers,
okay because I figured it was a mental typo. But anyway,
right? That's hilarious.
who cares? We don't even know what day it really is anyway, right? On the calendar. If they're 13 months or whatever.
Right. So
But thank you guys all for being here on this awesome 5D all day show. Bye, Dina. Thank you for coming. She's heading out. Don't forget that again, we have the mass meditation. Can you tell us a little bit about that, Nicole, before we wrap up?
yeah, for sure. So on Sunday at 3:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. No, I'm sorry, 1:11 Eastern Standard Time, 11:11 Mountain Standard Time on Sunday, we'll be having a mass meditation. And if you could join, that would be great, because the whole thing behind mass meditation is the more numbers we have, the more potential and possibilities we have to do more greatness on our planet and within. So yeah, please show up, and that will be a great time to connect once more again.
Yeah, and this is something that's free to all Spirit Calling members. So again, if you are still not, if you're just watching this, thank you for listening. Such great, cool conversations. Like I said, we really look forward to it. But this is something, if you want to do the 7-day free trial, just check out spirit-calling.com and you can check out all the details and browse around and hit up Nicole's awesome meditation. And we have really fun events, like Jason mentioned. You just put it on your calendar and then you can hit up whatever you can. So thank you guys so much. I do have something I have to share with you really quick because I'm going to be in Nicaragua next month on our 5D all day. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do yet, and then I'll have to see. Maybe I can do it on the 15th, but we can't miss this, right?
Right.
Can't miss a month.
Yeah.
So I'll be checking in with y'all. So it will not be the last Friday, which is the 29th. Or the 22nd, because I will be gone. So we'll chat about it. All right.
Sounds good.
All right, everybody. Thanks again and have a lovely weekend.
Thanks,
right.
everybody.
Bye.
Take
Yeah.
care. Bye-bye.